High-speed rail is one of those things that's great in theory, but in practice is rather inefficient and ineffective. So firstly, I'd like to outline a lot of the implications from the resolution. It's kind of going off of the fact that this high-speed rail system is being proposed is going to be much like Eisenhower's federal highway system, which was across the entire United States, which implies then that this California system is going to be across the entire state of California. Now, this is incredibly infeasible, as it's going to have to go through both rural areas, suburban areas, as well as cities. Now, the reason that a lot of the affirmatives or the opponents these facts have been rather optimistic are because they're going off analogs of Moscow's transportation system and Japan's high-speed rail system, which do function well because they're in smaller, more densely populated countries where high-speed rail is actually a very efficient form of transportation, and you usually don't use the plane to travel across the country or the state as well. In California, as a very larger state that has much less capability for long tracks of highway or high-speed rail, as it were, going from rural areas to urban areas, it's going to be much less efficient than these areas where the statistics are coming from, like Japan and Russia. So then going on to another one, this is actually from Richard Arena. He's actually on the board for the High-Speed Rail Association, so he's actually pro high-speed rail. But in 2012, he actually mentioned that because of the railway union's opposition to high-speed rail, and again, these railroad union people are going to be the ones who build the high-speed rail, because they don't support it and are threatened to strike if it's given more funding. He said that it's an ineffective time for us to try doing high-speed rail right now, as it's going to be stalled from mass worker strikes that have been threatened by these unions. So then going on to the environment, as was mentioned by our main con speaker. These emissions are actually going to be increased exponentially during the construction of the high-speed rail itself, because it's going to be a massive, decades-long project to create a high-speed rail system across the entire state of California, taking massive amounts of man-hours, massive amounts of tractors and other motor vehicles that are going to take a lot of diesel and fuel, which is going to be an enormous detriment to the environment that's going to take decades and decades of high-speed rail use to even make up for the initial environmental cost of building the rail itself. And lastly, I'd like to talk about a point that the main pro speaker actually brought up. He said that since it's the way to go through many rural areas where there's agriculture, it's going to decrease water usage. Well, this also means that our farms are going to be severely impacted by the high-speed rail. It's going to interrupt production of our food. California is one of the major breadbaskets of the U.S., and if agriculture were to be interrupted, then there would be a massive stall in our economy, which would not be outweighed by a small decrease or alleviation of our drought. Thank you so much. Please vote to comment on the resolution.
All right, hi, I'm back. I'd just like to reiterate a few basic points that I made at the beginning. That this is a bad idea in the first place. It's going to cost $70 billion to make the California high-speed rail system, and it would plunge the state further into debt because we don't have the money to pay for it. It would hurt the economy if we raised taxes to balance the budget so we wouldn't go into debt. And ultimately, this enormous, massive project would not yield any public good, because a majority of the public in California does not want this project, and the Central Valley citizens, who the project is interrupting the lives of Central Valley citizens, and they do not want this high-speed rail project being built in their communities. So if the public is opposed to it, that means that nobody is going to use this high-speed rail system. So that means we would just be wasting almost $70 billion that could be used on education, on our water system, on our economy. We would be wasting all that money on a high-speed rail system that nobody wants to use. So really, what we need to do is focus on better solutions to our transportation. And that would be expanding existing train networks like the BART system or the Caltrain system, the Pacific Surfliner, the LA Bakersfield line. All these transformative transportation technologies like driverless cars on the roadways, all of those projects would do much more to decrease traffic than this high-speed rail. In fact, many would say that the high-speed rail project would increase traffic because you're going to have to build new roads around the construction areas in the Central Valley when it's actually being built. And aside from all the debt that this will cause, it's also going to have a negative impact on the environment, as a comment to the speaker already mentioned. So overall, there's no reason to have a shiny new train that's going to take people places that they can already get to more efficiently when you can make better transportation systems closer to home by expanding existing ones and bringing people closer to their work and their schools to have real economic benefits at home and not a huge high-speed rail train to nowhere. And fun fact, the California High-Speed Rail Authority recently rejected help from both the French and the Japanese. And the French and the Japanese, the two countries, they're the two peoples who have perfected the high-speed rail. And the California High-Speed Rail Authority just rejected their help. So there's next to no chance that the California High-Speed Rail system, if built, will be a success. And I hope you will vote con so that this vision of high-speed rail does not become a reality and that we do not get plunged into debt and that we don't get saddled with an enormous high-speed rail system that nobody's going to use and that the majority of the public does not want. Please vote on the resolution. Thank you.
Okay, so before I talk about some of my main points again, I'd just like to refute some of my opponent's points. So first of all, he stated, the main opponent speaker stated that it would cost about $70 billion. It's actually $68 billion, so someone needs to fact check that. And also, he also said how the majority of people don't like this high-speed rail, right? Just because the majority of people don't like something doesn't mean it's good. So for example, the majority of people in the US want us to take troops out of Iran. And the thing is, when Obama did that, look where we are now. Now they're like popping heads off of journalists and other people. It's like it's just mad over there. He should have just laid his troops there. But then the thing is, the majority of people liked it. So that means, look, just because the majority of people like something does not mean it'll be beneficial or be good to our economy and such. In some parts of California, as our keynote speaker earlier said, it was around 20 to 30% unemployment in some areas of California. The thing is, with this high-speed rail, we'll be able to lower that percentage and create more jobs here in California. He said how her jobs also, someone pointed out about using the airport or highways. Someone said about how you have to wait in line longer for the airport, so then there's no really benefit using airports over the railroads. I just want to say a metaphor. The Panama Canal, the president of Panama, he was like, oh, this is not a good idea. But now look, now we have that Panama Canal. Now we have that slip through there where you can trade through the Atlantic Ocean through the Pacific and just get lots of money, good things for the economy. President Obama actually supports this program. He actually wanted to make this high-speed program, but none of the states wanted to take it up, and California is one of them, and that's why we should really push for this. So if you want more jobs, you want the economy to grow in California, and you want to not destroy the environment, because the high-speed railroad, it'll lower carbon emissions, in the long run, if you think about it. Because lots of my opponents kept saying how it will increase, but that's only in the short run. But in the long run, because we have to think of the future. We can't just think of what happens now. So if you want to think of the future, you want to think about your kids, your grandkids, and your grand-grandkids, then you should vote pro on this resolution. Thank you so much.
Resolve that California should the funding of high-speed rail. All those in favor of the resolution, please raise your hand. All those opposed? All those abstaining? Okay, with the vote reading 1754-8, the resolution fails. Subsequent speakers, please come up and announce their names.
Hello, my name is David Roundbush. I was the main con speaker today. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Kishan Wong, Keshan, and I'm from Van Nuys High School, and I was the main fun speaker.
Hi, my name is Taha Kille. I'm from Bexley High School. Proceed.
Hello, I'm Matt Wander from Corinne Omar. I was on the con.
I'm Justin Hess from OR. I'm also on the
Sorry, what's your name? I'm sorry. I understand. I think I was being a little unprofessional. I'll try to dress you better. We've been really good around, and it's not really we're all out here. We're pretty much serious about the review, and we expect our members to be good results. So I will.
You're the president?
Yes. I'm really like I'm doing this and I have a lot of things to do.
Guys, can I have your attention? I just want to apologize. I accidentally, according to some people, I said the F word, but I meant to say funding. I might have said the F word, so I'm sorry.
What came on the JSA website? Is it live right now? Yeah. Jay. Justin, just like.
Or Matt.
I have your
No, you can get killed.
She has a fucking iBook.
What?